Right then. Right then, boys. I think we're live. I think we're good. Good morning, everyone. I've just got to just double check that everything is set up. How is everybody doing? How is everybody? Monday morning. Oh, we are. I think we're okay. I think we're good to go. Yeah, there we go. How is everyone? Good morning, lads. Archie, morning, mate. Oliver, morning, mate. Andy, how you doing, mate? Josh, N17 Stu, the goats, the OGs are all in here. How's everybody doing? Archie, I'm finally early, mate. I'm pretty early today on the stream. We've got a busy day today, so needed to get this in early doors. Hope you're all good. Hope the week is the start of the week is kind to all of you. Techers is in here, and Andy as well. How's everyone doing? Nordiak as well. Tim, morning, mate. Lot to talk about today, including, well, we know where we're going to start, don't we, lads? In terms of Yves Bissouma and what he's been doing and what he's been up to. Obviously, we're going to start there. Just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But we'll come on to talk about that in a bit more detail shortly. How it kind of impacts his place in the squad, how Ange Postecoglou reacts to it, how Tottenham deal with this, and much, much more. We're also going to talk about the game on Saturday. Obviously, yesterday we did a on YouTube. We did a breakdown of the game, which some of you guys would have been in. It's done really, really well, so I massively appreciate that. Anyone that watched that. So we did that yesterday, but we're going to talk about some other bits from the game, including Harry Kane's return. Obviously, we're going to talk about Ange's comments after it. We're going to talk about the set pieces and how maybe Spurs move forward with that. We're obviously going to talk about Arsenal and their set piece exploitations yesterday and how that impacts the North London derby that's coming up in a few weeks' time. We're also going to talk about Spurs' new winger search, where that's going now with a few targets moving to other clubs and coming out and saying things, etc. What else are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about Will Lancashire. Dane Scarlett looks like he could potentially be on the move. Milan. Any news on Milan? Is he the new Danny Rose? But he's actually got his move this time. So, yeah, we're going to talk about all that and a lot more. And we're going to get all your thoughts on it as well, guys. So make sure to stick around for the stream. Also, lads, later on today, there is going to be a stream on the channel. I think I spoke about this yesterday in the stream breaking down the Bayern game. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be breaking down what our perfect summer would look like. We're going to build the squad basically together. Obviously, with transfers coming in, who's going to come out, who's going to come in. It's all going to be decided by you guys. So that will be probably about 3:30, 4 o'clock today. I've got to work on that. I'm going to bring my squad to you basically, and you guys are going to build yours in the stream as well. So make sure to get involved for that one. And also, just want to say a massive, massive thank you because we absolutely smashed past the 3K subscriber mark yesterday, which couldn't really believe it, to be honest. It's been an insane kind of couple of weeks. So I massively appreciate all your support, everyone, all you guys that are in here kind of every day doing these streams with me, getting involved in the chat and obviously watch the videos and stuff. So I massively appreciate all kind of the love and support. So yeah, guys, hope everyone is all good. Right then, let's get into it. Lewis, how you doing, mate? I'm good, thanks, bro. Travis, welcome, mate. How you doing, pal? Your tweet yesterday about João Felix very much hit the nail on the head, I think, in terms of how I'm feeling about it for sure. Just absolutely crazy. And we could talk about that when it comes to the Pedro Neto thing. And could Gallagher be back on to Spurs now? Who knows? Probably not. But yeah, welcome everyone, and let's get started. If you're watching this after the live stream as well, make sure to like the video. Make sure to get in the comments as well and give your thoughts on everything. We're going to start with Yves Bissouma because this is just beyond ridiculous, isn't it? Really, like I know. Obviously, I know there's kind of various reports about the actual health concerns around laughing gas or NOS or whatever, but to be doing this as a 27, 28, as a senior member of the squad and putting it out there on Snapchat, I don't know whether it was a private story, I don't know whether it was a public story. Either way, it's just absolutely bonkers, really. If it's a private story, obviously if someone's leaked that, then it's not great, but you should know better. Like, in this day and age, if you're a professional footballer putting something like that up, it's probably going to get out there one way or another. Just why would you it has been, I was going to say incriminate yourself, but it has actually been made illegal. Possession of laughing gas with intent to get high was made illegal last year. Yves Bissouma filmed himself inhaling laughing gas and uploaded it to his Snapchat. Bissouma apologised for these actions last night, saying he'd used a severe lack of judgment in doing what he did. And Tottenham have said they're looking into the events and how it will be dealt with internally. And you'd imagine that this isn't going to go well for Yves Bissouma, I don't think. I don't see how... Sui in the chat said there, I wish Biss invited me. He looked like he was having a lot of fun. I don't see how this goes well for him, especially with... Look, under any manager, right? But Postecoglou... And we're going to talk... I've got some things I want to talk about in terms of his relationship with Ange. Because it's been a funny one really over the last year or so. One that I think Postecoglou's put a lot of trust into Bissouma, and I'm not sure how much he's really got that back in some way. So if I was Ange Postecoglou, I think I would be incredibly disappointed by this. Like I said it in a tweet yesterday. Look, footballers have done a lot worse than this, like a lot worse. But one, that doesn't make this good or make it right. Whether there are serious health ramifications to it or not, I don't know. But if you're a professional athlete, surely it's not the wisest thing in the world to do it. And also to put it out there on a public platform, on Snapchat. It's just a bit embarrassing, I think. And two, it's just ridiculously stupid. Ridiculously stupid. It's just ridiculous. Just absolutely ridiculous. Garrett Glenberry says, never put anything on the internet you would not wear on a t-shirt. That's a good point. I don't really know what to say about it, to be honest, because it's like, look, like I said, it's not the worst thing in the world. Players have done worse than this, but it's just incredibly idiotic when you put it in the context of, like I said, it's come out, let's get an article up from The Guardian. He will be investigated. The Tottenham midfielder Yves Bissouma has apologised after he was recorded inhaling nitrous oxide, but could potentially face punishment for his actions. Bissouma reportedly uploaded clips of himself using the Class C drug, widely known as laughing gas, onto social media site Snapchat last weekend. The Mali international has since acknowledged severe lack of judgment. That's the classic YouTuber apology line, isn't it? Straight out of the Logan Paul playbook. But faces an internal club investigation and an anxious wait to discover if further punishment could be on his way. So his statement said, I want to apologise for these videos. This was a severe lack of judgment. I understand how serious this is and the health risks involved. And I also take my responsibility as a footballer and a role model very, very seriously. And Tottenham have said that we're looking into events. This will be dealt with as an internal matter. Bit more context in terms of the actual legal ramifications of this. Nitrous oxide was made a Class C drug under the Misuse of Drugs Act last November as part of the government's antisocial behaviour action plan. Possession of nitrous oxide where a person intends to wrongfully inhale it for a psychoactive effect is now an offence, but it's still possible to use the gas for legitimate reasons such as in catering or pain relief during labour. Which I don't know about you guys, but it doesn't look like, although in that picture it does a little bit, didn't really look like Yves Bissouma was going into labour. So yeah, it's going to be how they deal with this. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see how Spurs go about this in terms of some sort of punishment. I don't know. I don't know, honestly. I don't know how Spurs are going to move forward with this one. It's such a tricky one because it's, like I said, is it the worst thing in the world? Probably not. In the past, I think I've kind of been more of the attitude of like, if footballers get up to stuff like this in their personal life, then I don't really care. But if you're a senior player in that squad who's kind of been given enough kind of chances by a manager, or not even chances, but obviously like he's had a bit of a rocky time at Spurs, really. Obviously under Antonio Conte there was chat about him struggling to understand the tactical aspect. That was kind of the famous quote from Conte, wasn't it? There's also been the chat of Postecoglou in terms of him wanting to be a leader in this team, and all that, which I want to talk about quickly now. But it's just absolutely ridiculous. Sorry, I didn't mean to get that up the live stream. I was just sending that to someone. So it's just honestly ridiculous. Honestly ridiculous, if you ask me. What do you guys think about it in the chat? I think as well, especially off the back of like a pre-season where he was doing well for us. You know, he's kind of just thrown it all in the bin a bit, really, because this is just kind of it's taken the gloss off of what was actually, you know, I feel like with Bissouma's performances throughout pre-season, I think he's definitely shown somewhere near the level of what we come to expect from him. But it's just, I feel like his whole Tottenham career has kind of been one step forward, two steps back, really. Josh Hayden says also just seems like a lack of respect towards the club, teammates, and Ange. Exactly, I agree with you, Josh. And Rui says I didn't realise Snapchat was still a thing. I kind of think that kind of makes it more embarrassing. So I want to talk about this because this was an interview that Yves Bissouma did on Friday. I think we talked about this on Friday's stream, where he was talking about Ange as a manager, talking about him as like a father figure, saying that he's playing his best football with him, and I think to do that, to come out and talk about the fact that he's helped really develop your game. He's a father figure and all that. Like, and then to do this, I just think like Josh said, it's kind of just is a lack of respect, really, to the manager and also his teammates. Because I remember this last year. This was an interview that really kind of stuck in my mind. Apologies for some random guy's feet there on the Sun Dream Team advert. So I remember Ange Postecoglou did this interview with Jim White and Simon Jordan on TalkSport. Don't know if you guys remember this. This was 12th September last year, so I think it was during the international break, maybe, at the start of last season. And obviously, Yves Bissouma started last season brilliantly for Tottenham, so there was naturally a lot of conversation around him in terms of how well he was playing, etc. Like I said, this was kind of that famous Conte quote, wasn't it? The only player that is struggling a bit with the tactical aspect is Bissouma, but he's also improving a lot. So he talks about Bissouma in this interview, saying, I don't know if I've done anything specific with him. With all the players, it's about creating an environment. Sometimes when you have had a disappointing season, you can blame a manager in the past. This is the bit I want to talk about. This whole section here, right? Because I feel like Bissouma has had enough chances with Postecoglou. Obviously, if you take this away from it, we'll come and talk about these kind of quotes in a minute. In terms of Bissouma being a leader, Bissouma is a senior pro in this team. He's one of the older players in this team, right? I'm pretty sure. Forgive me if I'm wrong, and forgive me for not having this up already. But I'm pretty sure in this interview that Bissouma did on Friday with the BBC, he actually almost referred to that in the sense that, where was it? I might be getting that wrong. I'm sure there was a quote from him, even maybe talking about the fact that he recognises that he's one of the older players in the team, and therefore one of the most experienced players in the dressing room. But maybe I've got that wrong. So this was what I want to talk about. So Ange Postecoglou said, ultimately, I said to all the players, it's about them now. You never start with a clean slate, but you can start with an opportunity to take hold of your career. Show me what you can do and be the best you can be. He said, I was lucky because Bissouma was here from the first day I arrived. Many of the boys were playing international football, and I kind of grabbed him. The way he was in training at the time, the first 3 or 4 sessions, we mainly had young guys. Again, experienced player. He said, you can be a leader in this group. I already knew of his ability and the way he was training. I could see he got a lift with that. So he's kind of empowered him by saying that, look, I want you to be a leader for me. I recognise that you're one of the elder people in this group. I see you being a key player for me. He was late the next morning, and I said to be a leader means to be on time, and he's been good since then, so there's always lessons to be learned. But I think with him and all the other players, it is about creating an environment and framework to say, well, you should not have any excuses. I'm not going to allow you to have any excuses and not be the best you can be. In that context, the rest is up to them. And like I said, I just feel like whether it was whether it was down to, or whether it was, last year with the way that he started the season incredibly well, and then kind of had that downturn in form, that kind of lack of consistency, obviously would have been a frustration. And then now this, it's just how many chances do you need to prove how good you are and how important that you are to the team, but also to the dressing room as a senior player. It's just, like I said, sorry, I got a wrong thing up here. Hang on. Like I said, players have done a lot worse than this. And I don't want to completely, assassinate Yves Bissouma over this. In reality, when you kind of zoom out, what he's done isn't the biggest deal in the world, and maybe the health ramifications of it aren't as serious as people kind of make out, and maybe they're kind of just put out there as a deterrent. It's an incredibly stupid thing to do, and it's an incredibly stupid thing to put on a public platform. But like I said, I think it'll be very interesting to see how Spurs move forward from this and how Ange Postecoglou reacts to it. Nikhil said we let Lloris stay as captain after being caught drink driving. So that, you're right, mate. I know. Like I'm saying, players have done a lot worse than this. I condemn that even more at the time because it's just incredibly stupid. But so is this, because you've put that out there yourself. Look, if Yves Bissouma wants to go out in a club, right, and have a drink and do something like this, and someone films him doing it, that's one thing. Look, you can say it's stupid, but to put that out there yourself, I think it's just incredibly dumb. Love Biss when he's on form, but was too inconsistent for me last season. There's still time in the window. Nick from Venn. Look, again, like I said, later on when we do this stream, which I hope a lot of you guys could be around for, around 3:30ish, maybe. Might do it a little bit earlier, might do it a little bit later. I hope you guys can be around. Is maybe that sixth position opens up as an area that Spurs might now go and look at. I very much doubt that Spurs are going to kind of rip up. Look, there was. I'm pretty sure towards the end of if you experienced a dropout, my internet there was deciding to not play. If you experienced a dropout, my internet there was deciding to not play ball, which was frustrating. But yeah, I think it's not. I'm pretty sure there was rumours about Bissouma potentially being made available for the right price. So whether if someone's going to come in for him, maybe Spurs will look to move him on. But I think this late in the window, I can't see Spurs kind of ripping up the transfer plans. But again, in the stream later on, that'll be up to you guys to tell me. It's just really frustrating. But look, I'm sure the club will deal with it. I'm sure we'll hear some more later in terms of how Spurs move forward and what they're going to do. So we should just have to wait and see, really. But let's leave that for now, because things can, you don't want to kind of continue to fester this negativity. But Emerson Royal, I mean, you could be negative or positive about this if you like. Emerson Royal has landed in Milan and he's set for medical tests as a new AC Milan player today. And here he was also arriving in Milan yesterday. Look how happy he looks, man. I'm buzzing for Bissouma. Bissouma, bloody hell. I'm buzzing for Emerson. Look, he's got this move. And he was nowhere near as bad a player as people have made out for Tottenham. And I'm happy for him. I am happy for him. He will do well there. He will genuinely do well at Milan. This is a guy that's been asked to play in a variety of different positions at Spurs. He was kind of bought as a right back. Then Nuno was sacked a few weeks later, or a few months later, and Conte comes in. Obviously, we know Emerson's limitations kind of going forward in an attacking sense, being asked to kind of be this bombing up and down wing back. Then Postecoglou obviously comes in and he's being asked to play as an inverted fullback, kind of on the ball. Oh, apparently the sound keeps cutting out. Is that okay? I don't know whether it's the lag or not. Let me know if the sound's okay. Hopefully that's all good. That's frustrating. Hopefully that's all good. Can you guys hear me okay now? I don't know whether it's because my internet went down before. Are we all good? Let's crack on. Yeah, Emerson, I think he'll do well there. Like I said, obviously Postecoglou being asked to play as an inverted fullback, he was never going to be able to fulfil that role properly because he's not the best technical footballer in the world. He was bought as a right back for Spurs. Okay, cool, we're fine, sweet. Sorry about that, guys. Such as the hiccups of live streaming sometimes. Always happens on a Monday, doesn't it? I think Emerson will do well. I think Emerson will do well there, and honestly, good luck to him. People are like, how's he got this move? He must have the best agent in the world and all this. It's like, I don't buy into that. Emerson Royale is a good footballer, an honest pro, or a good defender. Maybe not a good footballer, a good defender, an honest pro. And if he's going there being asked to play as a right back, he'll be absolutely fine. He'll be absolutely fine. Archie says it's still cutting out for him. Okay, well, hopefully we're good. Sorry about that, Archie. Don't know what's happened there. Right, Emerson obviously gone. I'm sure that'll probably be announced later on today. What else do we want to talk about this morning? Right, let's talk about one thing that we obviously got to talk about on Friday that we didn't get to talk about in an official capacity was Dominic Solanke. Dominic Solanke is now obviously a Tottenham Hotspur player. He was introduced to the fans on Friday ahead of the game against Bayern Munich, which we're going to come on and talk about a little bit. Like I said, we broke the game down from more of a tactical point of view in the stream yesterday. But there was a few things I want to talk about from the game. Dominic Solanke is officially a Tottenham Hotspur player. When Ange was asked about him, he said, and again, people want to talk about the signing itself and the money, etc. Dominic Solanke was clearly Postecoglou's number one target and Tottenham's number one target. He said he was one I was very keen to get in. It took a while to get over the line. I think will be a great fit for us where he's at in his career. We identified him because he's got all the attributes that we're looking for. Again, guys, massive shout out for all your support on the video that I did about Solanke last week. Go and watch that if you haven't already. He said, since I spoke to him, I've got a real sense he had a really burning desire to take his football to another level and really challenge himself at a big club. Like I said, he is keen to make an impact and our job is to make sure we can provide that platform for him. I think this is such a good fit. I do think this is such a good fit. He was someone that clearly Ange really, really wanted. He got asked about whether he'd be fit enough to start against Leicester. He said, he was asked whether he could start that game. I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be. Of course, we'll have to have a look at him during the week. Sorry, guys, I feel like I'm lagging today. Maybe it's just a Monday. Can't get my words out. But I think that considering he's done most of pre-season, I see no reason why he shouldn't be available, which is great. Hopefully, he can start in that first game against Leicester. Again, guys, I'm going to do a stream later this week talking about the team for the game against Leicester. We can do that together. That's going to come later in the week. And again, there's some chat in the chat there from Archie, also from who else said it? People were talking about Solanke's number. Apparently, all the audio does keep cutting. Oh, for God's sake, man! I don't know whether it's the internet. I think it's the internet. I'm really sorry about that. We shall see. Hopefully it's not too bad for you guys. I really apologise about that if that's the case. It keeps cutting out. I'm having a bit of a nightmare this morning, it seems. But it's a Monday morning, these things happen. A lot of people saying it's fine, a lot of people saying it's not. But we'll crack on. Ada, thank you for the super chat. Why am I touching myself? Also, thoughts on Neto. We'll come and talk about Neto, mate. I appreciate the super chat. And also from Kaushik as well. Well, I don't know what currency that is. What is that, mate? I appreciate that very much, mate. Thank you very much for the super chat. Okay, apparently it's all good. Sorry if I keep going over it. I feel like I'm not with it today. Sui, that was it. Solanke number predictions. Well, we talked about this on the stream last week, and obviously, this one thing I wanted to talk about was where was it? Sorry. Obviously, Lo Celso wasn't part of the Tottenham squad on Friday. Bloody hell, Ben. On Saturday. Indian rupees. Well, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. Giovanni Lo Celso was not part of the Tottenham squad against Bayern on Saturday, as he can leave the club the transfer window. Betis and Villa are still interested and still keen with more clubs monitoring the situation. So whether they give Solanke 19 or whether they maybe wait until Lo Celso goes and give him 18, but obviously that will have to happen in the next week for Solanke to be given that number 19 shirt, number 18 shirt. Again, we talked about the fact that obviously 18 is a number kind of synonymous with Spurs strikers over the years. So it'd be pretty cool if he was given that number 18 shirt. But yeah, they've not announced it yet, so we shall see what happens there. Cry, I'm not good, says Brian is on loan and still in the club, so 11 is still not available. Yeah, but, well, that is true. But also, I'm pretty sure when Joe Rodon went on loan, he actually gave the... I'm pretty sure he gave the number 14 shirt to Perisic. I'm pretty sure he did. So hopefully... And obviously, Brian Hill is never going to play for Spurs again, right? He is never going to play for Spurs again. So hopefully he does give up that number 11 shirt, and that has been reserved for a winger, which we'll come on and talk about as well. I think it'll be 19. I do think it'll be 19 if Lo Celso doesn't go. Archie Parker says don't give him 12. A 12 for a striker will be horrendous. I mean, Spurs have had some bad numbers over the years. Clint Dempsey number 2 being one of them. But 12 would be horrendous. 19 would look good. 19 would look good, I think. Kane, Klinsmann, Defoe were all 18. Yeah, 18, like I said, 18 is a number kind of synonymous with Spurs strikers. So that'd be pretty cool if he was given that, I think. Obviously, Kane, Klinsmann, Defoe. He was still in the club when he gave it to Perry Goat. Perry Goat, yeah. Nick from Venn says, do we think Richie is definitely staying? It would be great to have 2 striker options. 100%. Actually, sorry, there was one quote that I wanted to get up from Postecoglou on Richarlison. There's some other bits I want to talk about, but I wanted to just quickly go to this because you've just reminded me. And guys as well, if there's anything, like I said, apparently Spurs have been offered the opportunity to sign Wilfred Zaha. I can't see that. I was going to say, guys, if there's anything that happens in the chat, or anything that happens this morning while we're doing this, please feel free to keep me updated. This was, so yeah, to your point about Richarlison, Nick. So Postecoglou was asked about it on Friday. He said, not sure where the uncertain future idea came from. Not my behalf. When he was fit last year, he played all the time and played well. This is not about replacing Richie. For us, it is about adding to our squad. We want to get better in every transfer window. Having some more quality and depth in that front third means that we can protect our players more. So I do very much think it's Llorente as well, number 18, of course, Travis, of course. I do think it's a case of strengthening the squad. I don't think it's, one in, one out, which is good. Like I said, acting like a proper big club, having 2 strikers that can compete with each other. And they're, speaking of transfers, Ange Postecoglou in the post-match press conference on Friday. I don't know what is wrong with me this morning, guys. I'm so sorry. I genuinely don't know what is wrong with me. I feel like I've done so many of these streams now. I feel like my brain is just lagging. But I very much enjoy doing them. So, Postecoglou said there will be more movements on the market. There will still be some activity, which is very encouraging, because I still think we obviously need that winger. Again, it is a midfielder. It is a midfielder, someone that Spurs maybe look to go for now. Who knows? Ronnie Jones says Connor to Atletico is off apparently. Could we? I don't think. I think that will probably still happen, right? Isn't this what the whole João Felix thing is about? Chelsea are basically signing João Felix to save the Conor Gallagher deal. That very much seems like what's going on there. So maybe they will, but I don't see that. I don't see unless has that deal fallen apart? Because apparently George Mendes is still in London negotiating João Felix to Chelsea. I mean, this is ridiculous, isn't it? Like, absolutely ridiculous. Doesn't look like Nico Williams is moving anywhere. He's the new number 10 at Atletico Bilbao. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything necessarily regarding Conor Gallagher. I'm pretty sure I saw a tweet that was like, from Chelsea's situation, nothing has really changed. also crucial for the Conor Gallagher deal. Like, the Felix thing will happen. It will happen, and then Conor Gallagher will go. It'll be fine. So I don't think Conor Gallagher is. I don't think Conor Gallagher will be a Spurs player this summer. But look, strange things have happened, lads. But yeah, I think, like I said, the way that Postecoglou has spoken about Solanke, I think is really encouraging in terms of the fit and in terms of the fact that he was really desperate to get him in. And obviously, again, if you look at Ivan Toney is apparently now one of the main strikers being considered by Saudi Pro League clubs for the final weeks of the window. Toney appreciated by Al Ahly already. That is the club that Richarlison. I'm pretty sure we're looking at Richarlison. Since last January, he's already still on the Saudi Pro League shortlist. No decision on player side. He's assessing options. So we'll see what those options are. It doesn't sound like there's many options for him, to be honest. So it'll be very interesting to see where Toney goes and what happens with him. But again, if you talk about the kind of character and obviously the fact that Solanke was reportedly desperate to come to Spurs, and I think Solanke they definitely saw as the better fit. So I'm very, very happy with Dominic Solanke. Archie says, did Gallagher get Here We Go? I think it did. It did, but obviously I don't think no one really anticipated this kind of deal falling apart in the way that it has. So I don't think you can necessarily blame Fabrizio Romano for that. Sui says, I think it's related to Alvarez. Let's go sell the strike and get Alvarez. I think it'll all happen. I think it's just Chelsea. I think, like I said, they need to sign João Felix in order for those deals to go through. So I'm sure it will happen. And apparently, it sounds like Felix is very close to happening. Right, let's come on and talk about Solanke, who interestingly is the most expensive transfer on the market so far in all of Europe, at 66 million euros. Obviously, the biggest business has been done by the Premier League with Solanke, Yoro, and Neto. Then Moussa Diaby being sold to Al Ittihad, João Neves. Then, Solanke is the most expensive signing of the window. Archie Parker says we need Yohan Bakayoko. Well, let's talk about that now because obviously Spurs were in the hunt for a new winger. Pedro Neto was very much the man it felt like we were going to go for, but he's gone to Chelsea. And all I want to say is good luck, Chelsea fans, if he plays more than 15 games a season, because I just think. Look, I'm not going to be too bitter about it, right? But I feel like from Neto's perspective, this is just a terrible move for his career. Like when you look at the forward options that they've got. It's madness. And also, it stinks of George Mendes kind of getting his hands on it. And I think that's what we know, right? Getting more money for himself. Apparently, Spurs held a meeting with Mendes' team. And obviously, sometimes it's better not to get into bed with someone like George Mendes, right? So maybe Spurs might have dodged a bullet on this one. And played their hand of player plus cash. Elsewhere, Mendes had brokered a higher value deal, cash up front with Chelsea, and got the green light from Wolves. Money talks, it happens. Look, if that's the way it is, I'm not, it is what it is, isn't it? Spurs and Chelsea both had player plus cash offers rejected for Pedro Neto by Wolves. Spurs' offer included midfielder Oliver Skipp. Oliver Skipp is going to be such an interesting one. And again, he could be almost a key kind of pawn, if you like, in terms of like Spurs' transfer business for this summer. And that's something we're going to talk about in this stream later on. Hopefully, I need to get a few coffees down me before then because apologies if I'm a bit all over the place today. I don't know what is wrong with me. But yeah, good luck to him. Honestly, good luck to him. But the winger search continues, and Yohan Bakayoko is someone that I think a lot of Spurs fans would have liked. He said, I'm not going for a mid-table Premier League team. I will summarise it very briefly. I want to be able to become a champion player in the Champions League and play myself in the team. Look, that doesn't mean that he won't come to Tottenham this summer, but he's backing himself, and fair play, but whether this rules out a move because he wants to play Champions League football this summer and wants to play it now, then we'll see. But yeah, an interesting one, because I'm pretty sure Yohan Bakayoko was linked with a move to Brentford last summer, which doesn't necessarily mean that he's not. I think he's better than that, and obviously he's developed in the last year or so. But yeah, it's look. if he doesn't want to come to Tottenham this summer because he wants to play in the Champions League, then good luck to him. But I'm pretty sure if Spurs really wanted him and offered him a good wage package and offered PSV good money, I'm pretty sure they could still get him. So I don't think this one is necessarily definitely off the cards. But the winger profiles that Spurs will go for is going to be very interesting to see. So we shall see. Nick from Ven says, I suspect Neto knows he's likely to be injury-ridden, so might as well take the better paycheck, potentially. Travis says, skip his Spurs equivalent to João Felix. Yeah, just kind of being used as a bit of a pawn in this whole scenario. Boxing Hotspur says, I look at Mendes' clients and I have to say about 95% of them are nothing players or just overhyped. I think certain agents have mates in the media that hype their players more than they deserve, potentially. I don't think Neto is necessarily one of those. Boxing Hotspur follows that up saying, we'll sign Chiesa, makes the most sense. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiesa thing comes round again, but if we actually sign him, so we shall see. Travis says, doesn't make sense from Neto's point of view. Given his injury history, you'd think he'd want to play every minute given he's available, which we won't get there. I agree. I think it's a bad move for him. I do think it's a bad move for him. I do. I really do. I feel like I'm starting to get ill now as well. It's just all going wrong. Thanks for sticking with me, guys. It's been a low energy stream today, I'll be honest. But when you start off, when you're talking about this, I think it's only going to kind of go one way, isn't it, really? But let's leave the winger chat for now. And I want to talk about a couple more bits. I want to talk about the game on Saturday. Let's talk about Will Lancashire quickly. Because apparently Sunderland have significant interest in signing Dane Scarlett on loan. They'd also previously looked at Will Lancashire. Their preference is Dane Scarlett due to his previous experience already playing senior football. You can see then why that makes sense from his perspective. Gary Hunter says, Spurs put on their media group chat that we aren't interested in Chiesa the first time the links came around. So I'd be surprised if then they move for him. What do you mean by that? What I was going to say, the noises from inside the club anyway were that we didn't really want him. So if that's what you're getting at, yeah, I do agree with you, mate. So it'd be interesting to see if Will Lancashire... Scarlett, that'd be a great move for him, Sunderland. Obviously, it didn't quite work out for him at Ipswich. And I'll be honest, I would quite like to keep Will Lancashire around at the club for another half a season at least. How cool is that photo that Will Lancashire put on his Instagram story yesterday? Obviously got himself in a bit of a scrap, which I enjoyed. And also saw this tweet this morning. Just dropped off Will Lancashire in an Uber. What a lovely young man. Had a lovely chat about Spurs. Hope to see him get minutes this season. Looks like he's got a bright future ahead of him. Top man. Does seem like a very down-to-earth, nice character, doesn't he, Will Lancashire? So it'd be interesting to see what happens with him. But Dane Scarlett to Sunderland, I think that could be a good move. Sunderland have got a very exciting team, you know, with obviously Patrick Roberts, Jack Clark, lots of service from those wide positions. I wouldn't. I think this would be a good move for him. I really do. But yeah, Will Lancashire leads us on quite nicely to the game on Saturday, and I was at the game on Saturday. Obviously, Spurs lost 3-2. Like I said, we did a breakdown of it on the channel yesterday, so go and give that a watch, and go subscribe as well. And you know, we talked about the game a lot in there. Give me your thoughts, guys, on what you thought of the game. Paul O'Keefe says we don't want Chiesa. Lancashire on at 60 minutes, fresh, dangerous legs in the game. I can see it. Sunderland are desperate for a striker. Yeah, you're right, mate. They've also got Dennis Kirkin and Romain Mundle as well there, so lots of ex-Spurs. Anyway, Harry Kane returned to Tottenham, and look, I kind of spoke about it on the stream, and I spoke about it on a TikTok video that I wasn't, you know, I've moved on from Harry Kane, right? I wasn't that kind of bothered going into it. And the fact that I've kind of got over him leaving, and got over it quite quickly because of the way it kind of happened and the mess it was last summer, actually made me sort of be able to enjoy Saturday and enjoy him coming back. And, you know, it was just quite nice. It was quite lovely, I thought, really. Obviously, Kane put this tweet out. Amazing to be back at a place that will always be very special to me. Thanks to everyone for an incredible welcome. Great to get some minutes in the legs and step up the preparation. Obviously, there he was with Sonny. It was just nice, I thought. If you're at the game, let me know in the chat. A few people came up and said hello, which was really nice. Yeah, I thought it was just a lovely kind of, obviously a really nice moment for Harry Kane himself. Obviously, he didn't really get the chance to say goodbye properly when he was here. So I'm you know, this was really nice, and obviously I think as well a lot of people are gonna are gonna, there he was, sort of looking around, thinking, "Have I made a mistake? Should I have stayed?" Probably not. Seeing him there with Sonny, you see the relationship they have is so strong, and I think the respect that he's got for the club and the love that he's got for the club is so evident to kind of see, and I think that was evident in this. And like a lot of people are going to take the mick out of Harry Kane. Oh, I've lost the tweet now. Here it is. About him refusing to lift the trophy and all that kind of stuff. Like I genuinely think that does show a lot of respect, and like I said, a lot of people are going to take the mick out of him for that, about him refusing to do that. But I think that shows how much respect he has got for the club. And look, it's a pre-season trophy. Who really cares? If he'd have gone up and lifted it, I wouldn't really been that bothered. And the way he spoke about Tottenham afterwards in the interview, the way he spoke about Solanke signing, the way he spoke about Ange and the manager and the setup and everything at Spurs, it's clear that he's got a lot of respect for us still. And I thought that was a nice moment. And it was great to see him back. Look, he went round to, I was at the game, and if anyone else was as well, they would have seen it. He went round to all the fans after the game and clapped them. Something they didn't really get the chance to do last summer. So I thought it was just genuinely quite nice. Travis says, biggest takeaway from me from Bayern was Gray. Looks so much more assured at right back, and he could really be useful for us there, especially if tucking in to provide better rest defence. I agree, mate. I thought Archie Gray was superb. I thought Bergvall was great as well. But Archie Gray, you're right, he does look so much comfortable there. And I think it was evident in the fact that obviously he played basically a whole season there, right? And I think that definitely very much showed on Saturday. I thought it was really, really good. And has maybe got himself into contention for starting that first game, but I don't think he'll be a right back. So we shall see. Also, sorry, one thing I wanted to talk about as well. Obviously, Dejan Kulusevski got his 2 goals on Saturday. And kind of leading on from the Solanke stuff. Postecoglou was asked whether Kulusevski will continue to play centre forward still following Solanke's arrival. He said, "I don't think so. I think the reason for us why we signed Dom, and hopefully Richie should be ready as well, is that we want to have a player through that area that is a bit more accustomed to the role. Decky's done a great job for us, but I think his strengths and attributes are more in that attacking midfield." It's interesting that he said attacking midfield first, or wide role. Sorry about that. I feel like I'm starting to get ill. I think he's really developing and has had a really good pre-season for us, and hopefully it gives us some more flexibility and potency through the middle when he's playing, because he can get into those scoring areas. Like I said, it's interesting that he said attacking midfield first rather than winger, isn't it? Maybe I'm reading too much into that. So yeah, I think he's right. Look, Decky's done a brilliant job for us in pre-season, playing through the middle. But I think, and again, maybe it's an option in Europa League coming off the bench or starting there potentially, or but I do think the future for him there is essentially in that attacking midfield role. So very much sees that Postecoglou sees it that way as well. I actually think that I think I'd still start Kulusevski on the right wing against Leicester and play Solanke through the middle. Jake, nothing on Eze, mate, I'm afraid. Not from what I've seen anyway. But yeah, what else do we want to talk about to wrap things up? I want to talk about this. Final thing, off the back of the Bayern game, set pieces. We obviously broke this down yesterday in the stream, but this is a real worry for me, because there's a North London derby on the 15th of September. Arsenal scored 2 goals in the first 27 minutes from corners yesterday. Spurs conceded 2 goals, identical goals basically from free kicks against Bayern. It's just, and when you think about what happened last year at home to Arsenal as well, it doesn't bode well. So that is something that Spurs very much need to sort out. Donna Cullen in the chat. Levy's a right-hand woman. How you doing, Donna? So yeah, that is something that needs to be sorted out massively. And I think I said it on the stream yesterday. I think the Ange's undoing won't necessarily be the set pieces themselves. It could potentially be his attitude towards them. People saying Vicario as well. Dragson's actually good at set pieces. He's just not as good as Romero. Romero is the only player in that defence that goes and attacks it. Van de Ven, despite his frame, is actually not that good in the air. But I think Romero... Jack... I spoke about this on the stream yesterday. Jack Enoch out said about the fact that Romero is as important to Spurs as almost Kane was in a way, in terms of being able to play out from the back and defend set pieces and just do everything. But we shall see. We shall see what happens. And we'll get backlash in the next few weeks if he doesn't do much about set pieces. The back post is a massive issue. And again, Vicario, I think maybe you can start to label questions at him as well, but I don't think it's necessarily that fair right now. But yeah, if this kind of continues through the season, then Spurs have got big problems. But look, lads, that's where we're going to leave the stream for today. Apologies, it's been a bit of a low energy one. I just feel a bit. I don't know what's happening today. I don't know. It's been a bit of a funny morning. But we'll be back streaming later on. Thanks for sticking with me. We'll be doing this later on this afternoon. We'll be doing our perfect transfer window. We'll all be building it together, building our squad for next season. We're actually going to have a squad that we're going to build together. So we're going to do that. Make sure you stick around for that on the channel. That'll be around 3:30, 4 o'clock. Thank you to everyone so much again for getting involved. Thank you so much for the support on the channel. It's been absolutely mad recently. And we're over 3k subscribers, on the march to 3.2k now. So hopefully trying to get to 4k before the Leicester game next week, which would be crazy. To get 3k subscribers in 3 weeks would be absolutely nuts. So would massively appreciate that. We will also, just a quick final thing, go to the link in my description. We will be recording. Someone just said you're going to have a lay down and recuperate. I'm actually recording Darren and doing straight after this with Will at 11:30. So that'll be out later on. Go and subscribe to Darren doing mine and Will's Tottenham podcast. We've been getting a lot of nice comments on there recently. So massively appreciate that. Go and give that a watch later on. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the pod on Spotify or Apple wherever you get your pods. We're going to be recording that later. And yeah, go and subscribe to me on YouTube. Go and follow the TikTok. We're getting very close to 30k. I want to get to 30k before the Leicester game. And also go and follow the second channel as well. There's going to be a lot more content coming on there. So make sure you go and follow that. Look, guys, I hope you all have a good day. I'll see you this afternoon for the summer transfer window stream, which we're going to do. Make sure to bring your suggestions for the players that you want us to sign, and we're going to go through that. It's going to be very interactive. You're all going to get to vote and build your squad together. So have a good rest of your day. See you this afternoon about 3:30, 4 o'clock. And we'll see you for that. And up the Spurs. Up the Spurs.